Hi, so I did a video a couple weeks ago about soloing using ideas over long extended static changes, and I used the idea of soloing over the impressions changes, which is on alto anyway, B minor or B Dorian and then C Dorian. So someone sent me an offline message saying that I should have explained more about triad pairs, which I had used in that video. So I wanted to talk a little bit about triad pairs in improvisation, and then we'll relate that to using them over Dorian mode. So first off, in order to really use triad pairs in jazz improvisation, first you need to have a basic familiarity with jazz harmony as it relates to the modes, the various modes that are based on each note of the major scale, Ionian through Locrian. If you don't have working knowledge of that, then when it comes to play the triad pair over the given key center, you're not going to automatically be able to figure that out. It's something that you'll be slow figuring out. So that leads to the next point. You have to be familiar with each major scale throughout the length of or the range of your instrument. So for saxophone, that's F sharp down to B flat, high F sharp down to low B flat, or if you can go up into the altissimo, as high up into the altissimo as you can go down to B flat. If you're using guitar or piano, then the ranges are going to be different, or trumpet or bone. So you've got to be familiar with the major scale, with all 12 major scales. Then you've got to be familiar with the diatonic triads that go with those scales, not just starting on the root of each triad, but also in inversion, particularly for the two triads that we're going to be talking about, the two major triads that belong with that we would use in improvisation when it comes to jazz, other than the major triad, the root major triad. So we're going to start with talking about the Mixolydian mode. The Mixolydian mode is the mode based on the fifth note of the major scale, and it is the mode that you would play over a dominant 7 chord, the dominant 7 chord of whatever key center that was representative of. So for instance, if your key center was no sharps, no flats, and we're talking about C major, then the Mixolydian mode is going to be starting on G. That's your Mixolydian mode, because it's the fifth note of the C major scale, the mode based on the fifth note of the C major scale. So your standard triad pair is based on the first and the seventh note of the Mixolydian mode of whatever key signature, or key center, I should say, you're in. So if you're in the key center of A major, for instance, on alto in impressions, you're talking about B Dorian. B Dorian is the Dorian mode, or the 2 of A major. So I'm looking at a key center of 3 sharps, a major key signature of 3 sharps. The 5 of that key center or key signature is E. That's where the Mixolydian mode starts. And so I'm looking at my first triad pair. My first triad as being E major, and then my second triad pair starting on the 7th, or my second triad rather starting on the 7th of that Mixolydian mode. So we're talking about D. So for B minor 7, even though it's a minor chord, I'm going to be playing the triad pair that goes with the Mixolydian mode of that key center. So basically, the triad pair based on the 5 in relation to that 2 chord, that minor 2 chord. At higher levels, the same idea can be used for dominant 7 sharp 9 chords. For instance, on a C7 sharp 9 chord, you can play a flat major, F sharp, or G flat major triad pair. I won't get into how all of that works. I'm just using that as an example. You can also use it over a 2-5. You can use it over the 2 chord. You can use it over the 5 chord, the major 7 chord, or the Lydian mode, which would be a major 7 sharp 11. using the triad pair found in the Mixolydian mode of that key center. So, and in an outside example, you can use triads a tritone apart for a dominant 7 flat 9 chord, starting on the root of that dominant 7 flat 9 chord and then combining that with the tritone away from that. So in example of a C dominant 7 flat 9, you would use the C major triad and an F sharp or G flat major triad, depending on how you look at it. So we're going to take a look at impressions. I'm going to play a couple choruses using the triad pairs that go with impressions, at least from my standpoint. So it's a Dorian mode. It's the 2 minor chord of A. So the Mixolydian mode in relation to that is E dominant 7. So I'm going to be playing E major triad and D major triad. And then the next chord on alto is a C Dorian or C minor 7 chord. And again, I'm going to use the Mixolydian in relation to that key center, which in this case is B flat major. So put my teeth guard in here, and then I'll play a little bit of a few examples of what you can use in relation to triad pairs over those chords, over those static chords. Oh, sorry. Didn't have my sound turned up. One moment.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so that was just a couple choruses, an example of using the triad pair idea over those static minor 7 chords over Dorian mode. Hopefully that gives you some ideas of different things that you can use when you're improvising. Like I said, there's more chords than just regular 2/5s that you can use the same triad pair on, the same Mixolydian triad pair on. So I hope this helped. You can send me some questions if you like. I'll try to answer them. Obviously, I don't have all the answers in the world, especially when it comes to improvisation, but I hope this helped. Thanks. Bye.